Hare Krishna, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. We continue reading from Caitanya Caritamrta, Adi-Lila, chapter 7. We're speaking about the Panchatattva, text 18 to 19. Yan Sabalana Prabhura Nitya Vihar, Yan Sabalana Prabhura Kirtana Prachar, Yan Sabalana Karena Prema Ashvadan, Yan Sabalana Dan Kare Prema Dhan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The internal devotees or potencies are all eternal associates in the pastimes of the Lord. Only with them does the Lord advent to propound the Sankirtana movement. Only with them does the Lord taste the mellow of conjugal love. And only with them does He distribute this love of God to people in general. So when we see that any great dignitary, president of a country, he never goes alone anywhere. You know, he has his whole team, he has his personal aides, his bodyguards, his secretaries, like people are close to him. You know, he's always with them. Similarly, God, he's the most important dignitary. So he's always surrounded by his most confident inner circle of people, of the pure devotees. His associates, eternal associates. They are eternally there with him. Like Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna 5,000 years ago. So it doesn't mean that finished now, no more Krishna, no more Arjuna. No. Krishna and Arjuna are right now in some universe or the other. Again, Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and Arjuna is hearing the Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. The Lord's pastimes are eternal. Eternal. Not that, oh, finished. No, one universe or the other, he keeps on performing such pastimes. And his associates are eternal. They keep traveling with him wherever he goes. Advent. The Lord advents, and his eternal devotees or his potencies are with him. Distinguishing between pure devotees and internal or confidential devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami in his book Upadeshamrita traces the following gradual process of development. Out of many thousands of karmis, one is better when he is situated in perfect Vedic knowledge. Out of many such learned scholars and philosophers, one who is actually liberated from material bondage is better. And out of many such persons who are actually liberated, one who is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is considered to be the best. Among the many such transcendental lovers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the gopis are the best. And among the gopis, Srimati Radhika is the best. Srimati Radhika is very dear to Lord Krishna, and similarly, her pawns, namely Shyamkund and Radhakund, are also very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srila Rupa Goswami is telling us a gradual hierarchy, gradual process of hierarchy. What is he's trying to tell us? This is in his book Upadeshamrita, which is Srila Prabhupada translated it, and the name is Nectar of Devotion. So karmis, majority of the people in the world, we are all karmis. Right? We want fruit of our action. We do karma and we want to enjoy the fruit. Out of many such karmis, then one who understands the Vedas, perfect knowledge, he is better. That he's understood. I'm not the spirit. I'm sorry, I'm not the body, I'm the spirit. But out of many such learned philosophers, one who's out of these philosophers who know, okay, I'm not the body, I'm the soul, you know, because many people would know it, many. But out of these many, one who's actually liberated, actually situated on the Brahman platform is better because he's actually achieved the Brahman platform. It's a very high platform to come. So one who's liberated is even better than one who's just understanding that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, because he's practically on that platform. Now, from these many people who are already on the Brahman platform, who have already realized the Brahman, who've realized that I'm not the body, I'm the soul, out of many one of them, one who's a devotee of God is the best. Among all the liberated persons, the devotee of the God is best. So we can understand that a pure devotee of God is liberated. It's not that he's not liberated. He is liberated. And why is he the best? Because he knows that real life begins from the liberated platform. Liberation is not the end. Liberation is the beginning of real spiritual life. So amongst the liberated, the devotee is the best, and amongst many of such transcendental lovers of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there'll be so many of these pure devotees. Pure devotees means already liberated platform, no more thinking I'm the body, everything for the Supreme Lord. The gopis are the best. The gopis are the best. And among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the best. And then Srimati Radharani, she's very dear to Krishna. And so her Radha Kund is also very dear to Krishna. And Sham Kund is very dear to Krishna. Why? Because they are Srimati Radharanis. So then someone will say, oh, but you're making differentiation, you're creating comparison. This is not a comparison. This is not a point of comparison, but this is just this is to accept that there's always levels. We don't need to compare anyone. We don't need to compare anyone. This is just to understand that even in the pure devotional service, there are levels. There are, that because the love of Srimati Radharani for Krishna is the most, it's the highest. And that's a fact. So if somebody speaks the fact, then another person says, oh, but you're making comparison. But that is not a question of comparison at all. It is just merely stating the fact. So then, and there is no enmity. There's no enmity on the liberated platform. There's no like, oh, why you are the best? Why I can't be the best? No, nobody wants to be the best. Everyone is wanting to serve Radha and Krishna. So then reading on. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in his Anubhasya that among the 5 tattvas, 2 are energies, Shakti Tattva, and the 3 others are energetic, Shaktiman Tattva. So the Pancha Tattva, 3 are Shaktiman, that is Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and Advaitacharya. And 2 other energies, the Shakti, that is Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas Thakur. Unalloyed and internal devotees are both engaged in the favorable culture of Krishna consciousness, untinged by philosophical speculation or fruitive activities. They are all understood to be pure devotees, and those among them who simply engage in conjugal love are called Madhurya Bhaktas or internal devotees. So we can see even in pure devotees, then the degree of love that is there, the mood of the, in what mood is the devotee loving Krishna? It is there. So this is not to create any comparison, but yet to understand that yet there are levels, there are differences. So the internal devotees, the ones who are attached to Krishna in the Madhurya Ras, in conjugal love, they are understood to be the highest. Why? Because their love is the most strongest. They not only love Krishna in Shantaras, but they also love him as a servant. They also have the love for him, taking care of him as a parent would. They also have that friendship, and they also have that conjugal relationship with him. Yeah, so that's the reason they're known as the highest. It's not to look down on anybody else, but it's just to say, yeah, this is the fact. Why is it the highest? Because they're all not only loving Krishna as neutrality, just appreciating the wonder of Krishna, but also they have these other moods. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu enjoys his pastimes with his immediate expansion, Nityananda Prabhu, his pure devotees, and his three Purusha incarnations, namely Karana Dakshai Vishnu, Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, and Shiro Dakshai Vishnu, always accompany the Supreme Lord to propound the Sankirtana movement. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's always with his expansions. He's there with Nityananda Prabhu, he's there with Advaita Acharya. That's his pure devotee. The pure devotees are Srivas Thakur, with Gadadhar Pandit, and Advaita Acharya. He's an expansion of Karna Dakshai Vishnu. So automatically Garbho Dakshai Vishnu is there, Shiro Dakshai Vishnu is there. And so here now, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's come to spread the Sankirtana movement with his expansions, his potencies, his pure devotees, his incarnations. Yeah, he's not come alone. God is never alone. It's not that God is bicharo, bichara, he has nothing, he's sitting in one dark corner, he has nothing to do. No, everyone belongs to God. He's the most opulent. So, okay. Se pancha tattva mili prithvi asiya purva prema bandharera mudra ughadiya panchamuli lute prema kare ashvadan yata yata piye Krishna bare anukshan. The characteristics of Krishna are understood to be a storehouse of transcendental love. Although that storehouse of love certainly came with Krishna when he was present, it was sealed. But when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his associates of the Panchatattva, they broke the seal and plundered the storehouse to taste transcendental love of Krishna. The more they tasted it, the more their thirst grew for it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Mahavadanya Avatara because although he's Sri Krishna himself, he is even more favorably disposed to the poor fallen souls than Lord Sri Krishna. When Lord Sri Krishna himself was personally present, he demanded that everyone surrender unto him and promised that he would give them, then he will give one all protection. So why is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He's Krishna himself. Okay, we already saw all the evidences from the Shastras. He is God himself. But he is even more, he's the most merciful. He's even more merciful than Krishna himself. Why? Because when Krishna came, he gave the Bhagavad Gita. He spoke the Bhagavad Gita. And what did he say? 1866, Sarva Dharmam Parityagya. He says, you just abandon everything else, give up everything else, you surrender to me, and when you surrender to me, I will give you all protection. So Krishna demands surrender first. But for people like us, surrender to Krishna, surrender to God. Why? I'm God myself. Why should I surrender to anyone? And so what's going to happen to us, Kali Yuga people? And so because of us, then Lord Chaitanya came. Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what did he do? He just simply distributed transcendental love of God without discrimination. He didn't say you surrender, you don't surrender, this, that, you're this country, you're this community, you're this gender. No, you're this species. He even gave it to the animals. He's just giving love of God without any consideration. Sri Rupa Goswami therefore could understand that Lord Chaitanya was none other than Sri Krishna himself, for no one but the Supreme Personality of Godhead can distribute confidential love of the Supreme Person. So only Krishna can give love of himself. That's his property, no? The love of God. Only Krishna can give. But when he came as himself 5,000 years ago, he didn't. He didn't. His storehouse of love, it said, was sealed, protected. Krishna does not give his love easily to everyone. No, he's very, very careful of who he gives his love to. Why? Why? If love of God is there in everyone's heart, and now we are here in this material world, and then why isn't he giving it everyone? Take away, take it, take it. Because Krishna becomes subservient to the devotee. Krishna becomes obligated to the devotee. Krishna becomes the servant of his devotee. You know, like how Arjuna, he became the driver of Arjuna. Like that. So Krishna is very careful who he gives his love to, because he becomes the servant of his devotee. So he didn't give his love. He doesn't give his love easily. But what does Lord Chaitanya do? He said, take everyone, take. He broke the seal, and just plundered the storehouse of love of Krishna. No matter who we are, we just have to receive it. We have to receive it. Lord Chaitanya said, just chant the Hare Krishna mantra and take this love of Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead. So if we chant the Hare Krishna mantra by taking shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very easily we can go back home, back to Godhead. It's like when the prisoner is there, and if he tells the jailer, okay, now I've improved, and the jailer also sees, okay, this person has improved, then the jailer can let the prisoner go out, even though the term is not yet finished. Even though it's not yet finished, he can let him go out. Similarly, Lord Chaitanya, he's giving us this special concession. We could have been here in the material world for we don't know however long, but by his mercy, we are getting this opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead. Is that okay?
Yes.
So we'll stop here for today. Thank you so much for listening and joining. Shri Chaitanya Caritamrta ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.